Next tonight, a woman from Bishop's Taunton near Barnstaple, whose husband died after being given contaminated blood products, is giving evidence at an inquiry in London.
Sue Threakall's husband, Bob, contracted hepatitis B and C and HIV and died in 1991. He was one of thousands of patients who received contaminated blood in the 70s and 80s. It's been described as the worst tragedy in the history of the NHS. Kevin Ashford has been at the inquiry today.
It has been a long and often frustrating battle for campaigners, but today's hearing was seen as a crucial step in their efforts to try to get answers in what's been described as the biggest scandal in NHS history. In the 1970s and 1980s, thousands of patients in the UK were treated with blood products that had been imported, often from the United States. It was blood plasma that was infected with HIV and hepatitis viruses. As a result, between 1,500 to 2,000 people died, and hundreds more people are living with the consequences of that infection. Sue Threakall, who lives near Barnstaple in Devon, was at today's hearing. Her husband Bob contracted HIV and hepatitis B and C from infected blood, and he died in 1991.
There's a certain amount of frustration, and I have to say anger as well, because this could have and should have been sorted out decades ago. It seems to me that a very small, vulnerable group of people, many of them very sick, have been turned into almost semi-professional campaigners, backed up by a kind of silent army of people who didn't want to go public, but all of us pushing for the same thing.
The hearing is being headed up by the former High Court Judge Sir Brian Langstaff. In his opening remarks, he promised that the inquiry would be frightened of no one when it came to trying to find out how this treatment disaster was allowed to happen. And he promised to put people at the heart of proceedings. The inquiry will hold sessions around the country to allow witnesses to give evidence. It could last up to 3 years. And very poignantly, victim support groups estimate that between 250 and 300 more of those affected will not live to see the inquiry's conclusions.